Hey guys, we're back. This time we're taking a look at another tank for Gale Force 9's Tanks game. This time it's the Panzer IV Long. We already did a video on the standard Panzer IV. Got to do one on this one as well. And we'll get right in and take a look. And there we have a look at an assembled and painted Panzer IV Long. This one has the long barrel on there. I think the difference on these is that there's a long barrel 75, and then there was a short barrel which was more like an artillery type. You get the ability to make either or in this. I'm not sure if it has both though. Shares the same hull design with the original Panzer IV model, so the top half just kind of sets on there, which is nice. As I said, you can build it as the short or long. And there's a look. See, they show both on there, but I don't think you can use both. We will find out. But definitely a slightly different hull design as far as the turret, I believe, is the real big difference between this and the standard Panzer IV. There's a look at our card for the Panzer IV Long. 15 points, pretty nice. Means you can field a bunch of them. 5 initiative is kind of nice for a medium tank. It's right about where it should be. 4 damage is very nice. 1 armor, 4 hull. Makes it a little bit squishy, but that's to be expected for a tank of its size. Then we have our Blitzkrieg, which is the German ability that allows you to take an extra move instead of doing the repair during your command phase. And then, of course, our fluff text at the bottom. This is a 3 crew variant, so keep that in mind when you're building your platoon. Then we have the Panzer IV Short for 13 points, and as I mentioned, it gets that artillery instead of having the long barrel 75 on there. Again, 5 initiatives, pretty average for a medium tank. 3 attack is a little bit lower, but at the same time you're gaining that artillery indirect fire. 1 armor and 4 hull again, same as the Panzer Long. Then we got our Blitzkrieg again, and then artillery. When it shoots, it can shoot at tanks that are blocked by other tanks. Basically, you can fire over things. You can shoot over your own tanks or over opposing tanks. So if they're trying to put a heavy up front to block you from hitting their tank destroyers or something farther back that's causing more of a headache to you, this guy can shoot over them and hit the guys behind them, which is nice. And again, our fluff text on the bottom there. Can lob shells anywhere. Onto our crew cards, we have a unique driver, Tom Krasinski. He gives you a +4 initiative to your movement phase, but a -2 to your shooting phase. This tank can reroll 1 defense die, and the fluff text is great. He turned on the tank, and the machine picked up speed, and hang on, the commander warned the others. The guy's apparently a speed demon, but it also makes it really hard to shoot things while he's doing that. Next we have a German doctrine card, Clever Hans. When this tank makes a repair check, you succeed on a 3+ instead of the normal rolls. And there's nothing you can't fix as long as you remain focused on your task. Definitely a nice one to have. That may be something I might put on my Tigers. And the rest of our stuff are universal upgrades. For our crew, we have a Deadeye Gunner. This tank may upgrade 1 uncancelled hit into a critical. Always nice to be able to punch a little better, so once they let one of those hits through, you're like, take critical damage instead. Next we have a radio op, artillery observer. Once per turn, a stationary tank with the artillery keyword may draw its line of sight from this tank instead of itself when shooting. So this one you're not really going to put on this tank, you're going to put it on one of your other tanks that may be out making a flanking maneuver or closer to the enemy. It means that if you're using the short barrel version that has that artillery keyword, you can use the other tank to draw a line of sight. So there might even be a building in between you and the target. You can shoot up and over it and still take a shot at that target even though you can't directly see them yourself. Very nice card to have. And finally, we have an upgrade card for ammo. It's a smoke round. When shooting, you can discard this card instead of rolling an attack roll. The target gains -3 damage as being and counts as being covered till the end of the shooting phase. Basically, you're putting a smoke grenade right on top of them so that they can't shoot back. It's more of a defensive mechanic. If it's something big, you don't want them shooting at you, you can block, say, a tank destroyer sitting in the back, or even an artillery piece that you might have be able to shoot at. and blind them so that they can't fire that turn. Or if they do fire, they're doing way less damage. So that's definitely a interesting, useful in the right situations card. And then on to our spruce here. I thought this was going to be a rehash of the spruce from the normal Panzer IV, but this one's completely different. We've got all on one this time. We've got our tracks here, lower hull, two different variants of the 75 long barrel. We've got our lower hull, which again is cool on this one because it's all one big piece. We only do have one turret upper and lower piece, which means you can only make one of the two variants. And we have our short barrel 75 there. This looks like a fuel tank. That looks like a gun mantle. I think that's the rear hull. And then your upper hull piece, which sits on top of the chassis there. Easy to put together model, it looks like. But not too many options other than those turrets. I'm kind of disappointed you can't build both turrets, though. And there's a look at our completed Panzer IV with the long barrel. And pretty easy kit to put together. Not quite as complicated as the regular Panzer IV that has the side skirt armors on the turret and the tracks. Am a little sad that you couldn't build both the short barrel and long barrel variants. If you're good with magnets, you could probably magnetize this bit so that you can swap it on the turrets. It's probably possible to do that. I just didn't bother, but they do give you the parts to build either or. And that's a look at what comes with our Panzer IV long. I like the option of having the Panzer IV long or the short barrel, but really wish they came with both turrets so you could build both, like the Shermans and some of those tanks come with both pieces. That way you can swap out the turret and use either or. Kind of disappointing that they don't include both in here, but it is what it is. Overall though, it's a nice tank, mid-range. Definitely this one is the one I'm going to go with, buying over the standard Panzer IV model, just because this one gives you the option of building either or. It's slightly different and it doesn't have that turret armor on there, so it's a different model of the tank in general, but I like having the option to be able to build either of them. Anyway, that's a look at our Panzer IV long tank for Gale Force 9's Tanks game. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.